Let's do an easy fall look, and these are gonna be our tones. I'm gonna start with a little bit of a warm transition. This is very pigmented, so I want to do dots instead of swiping it with the wand. That way it doesn't deposit too much color. Perfect. I'm using the tip of the brush right now just to kind of push it into my socket. Then I'm gonna use the side of the brush to transition it towards the brow bone. Easy peasy. Then I'm gonna take this darker shade. Look how pretty that is. Same brush, I'm gonna use the side of it, tap it into, and up to, I guess, I should say, the socket. Just gonna let this run so you can see how it connects. Pretty easy smoky eye, right? A little bit more, just for a little bit more depth. I'm not gonna transition it as high either, but I really like this color for fall because it has quite a bit of red in it. There's a lot of red warmth, and I feel like that just really lends itself to this smoky fall look. All right, we're almost done with the eye. This eyeshadow stick is one of my faves for fall, and I'm just gonna apply it right here in the center. Then I'll grab another brush. Hang on, I wasn't ready. Now I'm ready. E27, and I'm just gonna soften this just on the edges. Isn't that cool? So pretty. I want this on my waterline, but it's a little bit chunkier, and I do wear contacts, so I'm just gonna tap right there with the dense brush and just run this across my waterline. Just tapping exposes it a lot easier, and then we're not gonna get it on our contact. Micellar water, fluffy brush. I'm gonna start to melt and tidy edges. Sometimes we don't always want a super sharp edge here. So that's why I like to take a fluffy brush in the micellar water. It just kind of cleans, but also melts. Not pictured was me powdering my lashes. I always like to make sure my lashes are really dry before mascara, and then I curl them. Oh, look at that already. All right, let me curl this side. Actually, let me do this side with my left hand. I'm shooting into a mirror if you're like, what are you talking about? So I can multitask. This is my favorite mascara still. This is the Prada mascara. I did not expect to love a high-end mascara this much, but here we are, and I love the wand. Whenever I do a really dark smoky eye, I don't have dark circles, and I actually just did an entire Instagram story on this, which is on my saved highlights, but it's still going to bring out things underneath my eye that my classic neutral shadows might not. So I always recommend color correcting. I mean, I'm even gonna take some in here, and it just really helps balance everything and cancel that blue. I'm using the fluffier side just to soften it into the rest of the face. I'm still gonna use concealer, but this is a game changer. Now, before we move on from the eye, I'm gonna take just that shade because it has more red, and I'm going to just run this along, or really tap it and press it into just the very top part of our shadow. It's gonna tie into my bronzer even better later once I get that on. But we're about to move on over. Oof, look at that nice blur. We're gonna move on over to complexion. Time for complexion. This typology stick has been a makeup game changer for my complexion because I like mattifying, but sometimes over mattifying products, they don't work well with makeup, but this one is just perfectly balanced. I love it so much. Now, I don't have any drugstore concealers at the moment that match me, I should say. So I'm gonna use just a whisper of my Hourglass. And this is a reminder that I need to go buy some more drugstore concealers in my shade. Now I'm gonna use this bronzer. I'm gonna swirl all of these colors together, and I'm gonna keep it a little bit more sculpted. Woo, that's pretty with the eye. And then I'm gonna do a little bit of bronzer toasting. I haven't used a drugstore foundation in a while, and I feel like now that it's getting a little bit cooler here, I'm gonna start reaching for my more full coverage foundations. I do like this one. And it dries down, I'm talking a whisper darker. It's actually a pretty good match already, but it does dry down. It's a whisper, which is not bad for a full coverage foundation. something that's very long wearing. Usually they dry down a lot darker, so that's a good thing about this one. I really do like this foundation. It's probably one of my favorite things to do with the C40.5. So I have the bronzer on here. I put most of it there, soften it, and then I take it across this top part, and then I connect it over here. And it just fits so perfectly. Just look down and look at how nicely that fits, and it just kind of melts that shadow with the bronzer, and it just looks so seamless but sculpted. Now it's time for bronzer toasting, and all that is a shade that's this kind of warm rose. One little tap, and then I press it into the bronzer. Essentially, it's still blush, but it's adding this little bit of a warm toast to your bronzer, and I feel like it's just gonna be so pretty this fall season, and holiday season, I should say. Now, instead of reaching for pink, I'm actually gonna reach for the peach. And the reason why is because I wanna make sure that everything is just nice and toasty, and pink can sometimes be a little too bright. So I'm still gonna get some really nice brightening, but without any of the kind of dulling of the pink. And because I have this red on my eyes, I wanna make sure that I'm kind of not adding more pink and more red around that. So the peach is really going to tie in very nicely. But look at, still nice and bright. And then I switch to a brush for the rest of my face, especially where the bronzer is and these edges. That way I'm not depositing too much of the color. A puff could deposit too much color and then kind of dull and gray up all of the bronzer. Let's grab this again. I'm gonna go ahead and finish my under eye. Got my brush queued up and ready to go. And then I just caught myself extending this just a little bit with the E27. Fun fact, this is the only formula of Dior's lips that I actually love. But it is so good. To me, it's more of a true gloss. And I used to wear them all the time, and I just bought this one. It really intrigued me. But let's start with MAC Mahogany. Oh yeah. Now for the best part. This is shade 112, by the way. And I did swatch it, and it actually has quite a bit of pigment. And like I mentioned, these feel more like a lip gloss, so they stay better to me than the lip oils and the ones in the squeezy tubes. Oh, that's so gorgeous. All right, my friends, this is what I think of when I think of easy fall tutorial. I hope that y'all enjoyed it. I enjoyed creating it. Go ahead and save it for later. I love you so much. Bye for now.